Hello, party people. Do they have parties at church? Oh yeah, they have parties at church all the time, right? With your...
That's what the mass is, yes.
It's just a party?
Oh, well, that's how they try to sell it to you, you know. It's a celebration, and we all come to celebrate Jesus every Sunday.
Oh, it's just a big Jesus party. Well, all right. Welcome to Fine Time. We're having a Jesus party here because we watched a little thing. I was trying to do my James Lipton there. You were in a little thing called 2025, The World Enslaved by a Virus. Oh boy.
I gotta say, if I really was in this, I wouldn't be putting it on my resume.
I'm pretty sure anyone who was in this used a fake name. They had to have. I mean, I would. So let's cut right to the chase. Here's how we got here. There was one of those threads I was flipping through on Twitter where it's like, what's the worst movie you ever seen? Like, or whatever. And I was reading along, enjoying. I was cruising it to see if anyone had my answer, which is Man of Steel. I think a couple people said that. And then someone posted in this thread a plot synopsis for this movie. And I was so baffled. I sent it to Steve immediately. And I was like, I don't even think I said we're doing this. I think I just said, Steve.
Oh, no, I insisted we do this.
I mean, well, I was going to insist that you beat me to it. I mean, I was going to insist. Trust me. I'm going to read the synopsis because it just floored me, and I need you guys to understand. Here it goes. In a post-apocalyptic world brought on by the coronavirus, communism runs rampant, meetings are forbidden, and Christianity is illegal. A band of young believers launch an underground revolution to reunite Christians and regain freedom from their oppressive superiors. What in the fuck? And then the cover of this movie, if you want to call it a movie, the cover, Steve.
Well, yeah, it's what? It's a guy taking off his mask in defiance, and then some lady standing there, and then some other guy in a RoboCop helmet.
That doesn't appear in the movie, actually, does it? There's no helmet like that.
No helmets like that at all.
That's not in the fucking movie. It's just an unbelievable cover. I mean, it's already lying to us. All right, do the movie guy impression. I want you to do a thing. Now do it for the people.
I wouldn't dare to say I can do a perfect one, but in a world dying of wokeness.
Yeah. So, as soon as we decided to do this, you did a little digging, and I'm going to stress to the audience right now, a little digging.
I had to do. Listen, these religious movies of the more recent times, they're all usually some kind of tax dodge or sex trade, whatever. But all I had to do was search the name of this Wesley guy. Top link. This Joshua Wesley guy is a 24-year-old child groomer.
I mean, the jokes write themselves. I don't even know what to say. Of course he is.
And I'm telling this to Andre while I'm looking this up, and Andre, to his credit, is doing the right thing and asks me, "Oh, maybe it's a different Joshua Wesley?" And then I'm looking further along the article. Joshua recently put out a movie called 2025, A World Enslaved by a Virus.
They're treating him like a real person, and it's a real movie. I guess he's a real person, is he? Oh, my God.
Oh.
It's just for top result.
Well, while I'm on this, I guess it's worth bringing up that, none of the other Christian film companies are taking responsibility for this one. And none of these really see theatrical releases unless the people rent out a theater themselves, which they were not doing in the year 2020 or 2021. But IMDb and a few other sources are claiming a scant $10,000 to produce this.
I know this is the easy joke to make, but I swear to God, like I'm not making one. It doesn't even look like it cost $10,000. It really doesn't. I could have filmed this better on like with my iPhone 13 Pro Max, like cinematic mode. You seen those commercials, Steve? Yeah, I have
Yeah.
that on my. I swear I could do a better job than this.
Speaking of people who did a better job, do you have any experience with Christian films? Because, look, I'm not a monster. I'm personally of the mindset where a Judeo-Christian mythos movie can be as good a backdrop as any if you put the effort in. So, things like The Ten Commandments, Prince of Egypt, and even The Last Temptation of Christ are good movies. Yes, they're whitewashed to hell, but that's more than you can say about things like Left Behind and Passion of the Christ.
I love those movies from the 50s and 60s, those whitewashed epics. Those are like, I remember, I don't know if ABC still does. Remember they used to show the 10 Commandments every Easter with commercial breaks. So it was like 4 fucking hours of the 10 Commandments.
Yes, I think I was around for the tail end of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So like every year they would show it, and I loved it. It was like an Easter tradition for me. I mean, look, it's a lot, right? So I didn't watch the whole thing every time, but I have several times. Prince of Egypt, though, that's the most wildly whitewashed one. Like if you look at that one now, it's like but those had budget. I bet in like $1959 or whenever the 10 Commandments came out, this had a higher budget than this movie, The World Enslaved by a Virus.
I know I'd rather watch The Prince of Egypt again with all of its Patrick Stewart as Ramsay's glory, but rather than World Enslaved by a Virus again.
I don't know. This movie was pretty funny. I can't say the 10 Commandments was funny. Now it was unintentionally funny, but this honestly, I'm just going to say it up front. This is probably one of the best bad movies I've ever seen. It was hilarious. Like The Room, hilarious. Like honestly, this made me howl with laughter so many times. It was incredibly funny.
Do we just want to tell the people what happened?
We're not, I mean, I guess we're going to, but I don't know. By the way, if you want to watch this, it's free on Tubi. So go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's how I watched it. And how does that business model work? Do they just let you? Is it like running a podcast where you pay for hosting and?
Okay, well, first of all, don't say that's how I watched it because that implies that I bought a fucking Blu-ray or something like that. No, I also watched it on Tubi. Okay, I didn't. I wasn't going to pay any money for this.
Okay, Andre. To be fair, I don't think anyone was ever thinking you were going to even find a Blu-ray of this movie anywhere.
I'm sure it exists. Anyway, yeah, we're going to go through some of the events in this movie because it was just. Let's start at the very beginning. Before the actual movie begins, there was a logo, Steve.
Well, yeah, because you know who produced this, right? The Wesley brothers, or Weasley, whichever. No, really, that's the logo they stick up. It's a fake-ass WB shield that they slap together using the image editor on their phone. It's just like, who the heck did you think you were fooling with that?
I could have done a better job on iMovie on my iPad. Like, honestly, first of all. Secondly, yeah, they probably just thought they were funny. WB, haha, Wesley brothers, who fucking, I mean, come on.
Yeah. But then we get into the PowerPoint presentation of pretty much what we went over before in the on the poster. But then the music, a little musical sting informs us Christianity is illegal.
So like before anybody appears on screen, it says, it's like almost a recap. It says, it's 2025. The world as we have known in 2020 does not exist anymore. The virus changed the world. Communism is all over the place. Communism. You know what? I did not expect, I gotta say this right now, I did not expect this movie to just use the word communism like the right wingers use it as like a boogeyman term to mean anything they don't like. Like communism is everywhere. What the fuck is that?
You know what the real problem is, Andre? Pronouns.
Okay, there are no pronouns in the Bible, Steve. Remember,
Nah, not a one.
not a single one that's capitalized as like a proper name over and over.
Nah.
Communism was all over the place. A global state developed. What kind of state? We'll never know. Meetings are illegal. What kind of meetings? We'll never know. Traveling is
Oh, we
illegal,
kind of
and
do.
and Christianity is illegal. Okay, so like the movie opens on our protagonist playing like fake Initial D on like some back road. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be an action scene, but like
It looks like a very fake car ad. I kept waiting for the voiceover to tell me, when you're running away from global terrorists on a highway, you need to be for tough.
like some Paul Verhoeven shit. You need the 6000 SUX to get away from global terrorists in Neo Detroit. So like he's on this back road. A cop starts tailing him all of a sudden, and immediately starts shooting at him. Starts shooting at the car. What the fuck? Like he eventually crashes his car and the cops arrest him, but then like why were they just trying to kill him? They weren't trying to just shoot the car, like the tires or something. They were trying to shoot him. That didn't make any sense.
The rules of engagement for the New World Police are incredibly inconsistent, but Fat Cop does eventually brings in our shriveled nerd in. And, he's, going in on his little rant. We had hope. We had peas, love, and ice cream. Concerts. I want to fight. We had lives.
You know what? That's the part that made me laugh. The first thing in this movie that made me really howl with laughter is when they were showing like flashbacks of like concerts and like going to a restaurant and like over the sad ass music. Like these are the things we can't do anymore. Like, oh my god, it was incredibly funny.
I remember when I ordered duck l'orange.
Remember the Popeyes chicken sandwich? Oh man.
Gotta hurry up or we'll be late for the Kraftwerk concert.
See, I always go, actually, I was gonna say, full disclosure, we've been making like Falco jokes as we've been ramping up to this, but Falco is actually Austrian, I found out. He's not German.
He is also no longer with us.
He is no longer with us and hasn't been for almost 25 years, but he was Austrian. Anyway, but Fat Cop mentions that like English is now the world's language and like everyone has to speak English or something, but it's not clear like if you'll get in trouble for speaking a different language or if they made everybody learn I don't know. They didn't explain it because nothing is explained. But you know what though? Isn't English already the world's language, Steve, in this current version of the Matrix we live in called life? Like
everything certainly already comes with English instructions, if that's what we're asking. So yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. I mean, but we don't force anybody. I don't know. Wild. Yeah, so anyway, our protagonist starts delivering like this massive exposition to the cop, explaining like the entire state of the world, even though he really doesn't, as if this cop doesn't already know. I mean, he's like part of the global police state, right? I guess it's for the audience, but he's just sitting there for 2 minutes, just blah, blah, blah. See these religious books, we can't have these anymore, and yada, yada. The people have forgotten God.
In just 5 years.
Yeah, just 5 years. Just 5 years, because the virus wiped it. Did the virus wipe it from everyone's brain? What happened?
Oh, I think it might have, but we'll get to that later because we're going to pan back to 3 months earlier. Jack is dead. We cannot hide in here forever because we know the truth. Don't you guys believe in the wonderful and protective God who has a plan for us? What's your plan? I want to make a difference. How can we achieve that? It's exactly like the Middle East. We are the only Christians left in the world. It was illegal 2,000 years ago, and it is again.
He's not making that up. That was literally the dialogue.
I got to bring up, we mentioned, I think we mentioned The Room earlier. There's been 4 characters in this movie so far, and I think The Room's Tommy Wiseau had a better grasp on the English language than these guys do, despite English being the world's language now.
Yeah, they have a better grip on it, and also we should mention that the Wesley brothers / Warner brothers they're German. Like this, you have very clear German accents. This was obviously filmed in Europe, which is fine, but that's also very strange considering some stuff we're going to talk about shortly. But it's this like, but yeah, from having this like rousing conversation, apparently they start saying like, oh, remember the fish? That was the thing in ancient times that we for anyone who doesn't know, it's like the Jesus fish. Everyone, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen that before.
That's maybe it's just because I work for a church, but I feel like I just see that everywhere on the road. People just it's on bumper stickers. You can go to the dollar store and buy those.
Yeah, but they're acting like we didn't have those in 2020. Did the virus eradicate all the fish bumper stickers from the world? Everyone forgot about them? Anyway, so this is like their secret symbol, right? So it's like, let's go outside and spray paint our symbol around and maybe other people will find us. He literally says, we go out, we maybe do those fish, and maybe people will find it. We maybe do those fish, he says.
Maybe do those fish.
But yeah, then they start doing that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they go out because even though you're not allowed to go outside, but they're outside. And there's a musical interlude, and they're just spraying over Pac-Man graffiti thing on the wall. And I guess graffiti from the state itself is popular in 2025, even though no one's allowed outside because there's one of the benches says "fuck Jesus" on it, and there's a wall that says "hate" on it before they even get there.
I missed this completely. I would have thought for sure I would have saw "fuck Jesus." I did not see that.
Look, I'm going to send the picture to you later, and if I was mistaken, we can edit this part out. I promise.
No, it's better. It's better if we just no. It's better this way. But yeah, so I guess again, a cop or a global police force cop shows up. I guess, even though they're just wearing like little vests that say police on it.
Yeah, it's just
it's so cheap, guys. Even for a $10,000 movie, it is so cheap.
So they get caught by the cop, and then they get rescued by a guy who kills the cop, and then they just briskly jog away from the scene of the okay, you guys just killed a guy. Maybe you want to book it or hide the body. I don't know.
Did he kill the cop? I wasn't sure about that. Did he actually kill him?
I don't know, but they were not moving away. The way they were just trotting away was not without any real sense of urgency, was not exactly...
Okay, but did he shoot him? I don't remember, did he knock him out somehow? I don't remember the confrontation. That's how insignificant it was. But I know we never saw him again, so whatever.
I mean, the cops started shooting people.
Yeah, that's another thing. Just like at the car earlier, this cop just saw the protagonist and his sister going around spray painting his fish, and he just starts shooting at them. What the hell is going on? This is not like super crazy post-apocalyptic like Judge Dredd or something like that. But even Judge Dredd shows more, judgment than that. Hence the name. Like this was just. The police just show up and start shooting at you. I would have thought they were black.
Oh.
It's okay. I can say that. It's okay. You don't have to make that face.
Hang on. It's very inconsistent how the police behave, but...
He's going to ignore me.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm saying... I'm saying the police are very inconsistent with how they engage with... all these criminals.
the criminality of just going around. Well, sometimes they're not even doing anything. They're just walking around. It's like, hey, you look suspicious, and just start shooting at them.
2 or more people, that's a meeting.
But so they're also spraying the fish in the desolate woods where very few people are likely to see them, I guess. And then in more than one of the takes, and I know you noticed this too, the spray paint was really wonky. It just wasn't coming out. It's a spray can. Then they start shaking it again, do a little more, and then a real movie with real editing might show a little spray here, a little spray there, and just show you the quick cuts, like the good parts. Okay, I get it. They're spraying the fish. This guy like lingered on every second. Okay, I got to shake the can some more. Shake, shake. It was insane. I cannot believe that stuff was left in the movie.
Surprised they didn't show the part where they needed to go on not eBay and order more spray paint or whatever they were doing in this post-apocalyptic wasteland.
Where did they get it in the first place? I don't even know, because you're not allowed to do anything on. I don't know. It's very unclear if they're allowed to use the internet or not. I couldn't get a bead on like if all internet, because they had phones, right? So it's like, surely, I don't know. So the guy who rescued him from the cop, or I guess the guy who killed the cop, was like some American dude, which is why it's weird. I guess I could say at this point that like there's just several Americans in this movie. Like there's this guy, all the cops are American.
Yeah, and I needed them to tell me that because they all got German accents except for the one.
No, the cop who arrested him was like didn't have an accent at all at the beginning. Who shot up the car?
Yeah, I guess not him, but
yeah. And then like American Boss Man later will talk, like he's also like none of them have like any accent whatsoever. Unless they're just really good at faking it, which I doubt. I'll just put it this way, without being rude, they looked American. I'll just say that. They looked like one of us. But yeah, at this point, I got a Switch commercial because, free watching on Tubi, you get commercials. I got a Switch commercial for Mario Party Superstars, just as God intended. People having meetings and having fun and playing video games. Remember those days?
Oh, man. Remember video games?
Oh, God. Just show...
Ray watched out footage of fishing in Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, sepia-toned, like, GameStop storefronts or something. Like... American guy apparently was a Marine, because, of course, why is he in Germany? Who fucking knows? Do we still have naval bases in Germany? Is that a thing that still exists? I don't fucking know.
We got bases all over the place.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, I guess that could be a possibility, but I don't know why I'm trying to make sense of this movie, but I shouldn't. Anyway, yeah, but like they tell them what they're doing, and it's like, oh, well, I'm in. Let's go spray some more fish, and then I guess they do.
And again, we just get more weird exchanges between them. I'm a Marine. I'm a nurse, and more. I'm getting more room flashbacks because I'm just waiting for anyone to pull out an American football and just start throwing it around.
Yeah, just because that's how we play football, Steve, right? We stand 3 feet from each other and toss it back and forth like an egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, so this is the point where I knew this movie was like, this whole scene, I was like, oh no. So American guy starts badly explaining his backstory. I had a girlfriend and but she started siding with the government, and I was like I broke up with her. But like, I'm over it. I'm totally over it. Remember that part where you're saying how over it he was, even though no one asked?
Oh yeah, he's very over it.
Yeah. And then the second reason, long pause, which is like pretty horrible. He cleared his throat. I'm not clearing my throat. He was literally clearing his throat in the middle of the dialogue and saying like it's almost like he was making up at the top of his head. I swear to God.
To be fair, he probably was.
I mean, you could at least like get your story together though before you like, and not like clear your throat several times during it because you're filming a movie, for fuck's sake. I mean, I don't know if you want to call this a movie. God damn. But yeah, like he was like, they were going to make us start. I left the Marines because they were going to make us start reciting the new Constitution. But I swear to like nobody, man. I only swear to God or something like that. It's like, okay. Like, and by the way, I know this isn't a real person, but I bet this person would have no problem like reciting the Pledge of Allegiance or something like that. But we can't recite the new Constitution, of which we are never told about, by the way, of course, because we can't establish
other than
anything.
that it exists.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but of course, because it's a contest in this movie, our lady friend responds with, oh, well, once people couldn't meet for like 2 weeks, my parents like ended their lives. And then there's like another half a scene later, maybe our Marine friend starts strumming a guitar, tuning it, I guess. And he's like, I used to play in a band in my church. Oh, that's so cool. Let's file that under conversations that don't happen.
No. It's never. Oh my god. It was just incredible. The scene is like, if you out anyone out there, if you are a fan of bad movies, this is gold. This is liquid gold. It is so good. You gotta see it. I heartily recommend it. But yeah, then like after that, it's like, do you think I could like stay here? Oh yeah, that'd be great. And then he looks directly at the camera.
God.
After that, he literally looks at the camera. Did you catch that? Because I was like, yeah, I was like, oh my god. I rewound it 3 times to watch it again. I could not believe it. But yeah, and then we start getting like kind of weird with the story, if you want to call it that, right? Because we start to have like flashback sequences, which were not telegraphed as a flash. I didn't even know what was going on at first, but I maybe you were smarter than me. But
no, I wasn't very smart because because it turns out that even though they're hiding, the girl's been working for the state this whole time. No, the girl's been working for the state this whole time, but they don't make it clear. They make it flash. They flash back to make it look like. Well, they look. It looks like it was a flashback to like, oh, we were working for the state, and then then they make it look like they're fugitives this whole time. But it turns out she's like working for the state in between all this illegal fish spraying they're doing all this time.
But it didn't seem like that at all because, like, by the way, do you like how she woke up to, like, in the flashback to her, like, iPhone 6S Plus dock or whatever? That's probably what they used to film this movie. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why they had an iPhone so old there, but, like.
Because it's the end of the world, and that's all they could find.
I'm pretty sure we at least had like an 11 or whatever by like. Remember, I think I got an 11 right before the pandemic started.
Well,
anyway.
you would get to keep it, but if she broke her screen, we're short on Gorilla Glass in the end of the year 2025, so we got to find what we can. So iPhone 6S it is.
She had to get a government phone. From that's all they had. But yeah, so like they go back out to spray paint more fish with American Man, and then he starts telling the worst jokes of all time. Like ever?
Hey, what did Corona do to Jesus? Nothing. And no one laughs.
No one laughs, and then like there's like 3 seconds of uncomfortable silence, and then he has his own like high-pitched giggle because he's laughing at his own shit because he realized nobody else is gonna laugh at it.
And then they did the other classic dad joke of, what do you call a fish without an eye? Fish.
I've actually never heard that before.
Really? I feel like that's on like every list of dad jokes on the internet.
I've never heard that one. But like, so it took me a sec to get it because, oh, by the way, I barely understood what he said because they start walking into like a tunnel and like it's fall. So like leaves are crunching under their feet. And like the mic isn't picking them up right, and they're in a tunnel, so there's echo, and have spray cans, so they're shaking their spray cans over all that noise. I could barely hear his crappy joke anyway. Like,
and now that I'm really thinking about it, that's kind of a joke that only works in English.
Well, yeah, maybe they didn't laugh at the first one because they didn't get their grasp wasn't there. They probably thought he meant something else, but. Yeah, then they in this tunnel, like the protagonist, like there's like a spray painted Goomba on the wall there, and then he pretends to be scared of it, like, oh, it's a monster. Oh, it's just a Goomba. Haha. It's like, okay. Did you catch this Goomba, by the way? I didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, it looked very similar to the one from when they were doing that first spat of them, that fish, but it's not in the same place. So it was weird that there were 2 of them.
Do you remember the part also kind of randomly where like American guy like does like some duck calls out into like the wilderness, and then he turns around and looks at the other 2 and like smiles like, see, that's something I could do from the old country known as America. Why did he do that?
See, my brain was looking for anything to grasp on, so I thought maybe he was trying to throw off cops that might have been nearby, but no, it was just stupid bullshit.
Okay, this then something happened. There was another flashback scene after this that made me almost cry laughing. It was so funny. So like the girl again is at the office and like some big American boss man delivers her some papers of the latest cases. We can assume coronavirus cases. Who knows? Because this movie doesn't tell us anything. And then she like covertly stuffs them in her purse. And then yet another American boss guy comes up like wearing like full like army fatigue. So you know he's part of the police state, which is apparently like America, I guess. And then he comes up behind her as like, are those the latest cases? And then she's like, yeah. Then he takes them. He's like, oh, my daughter will be able to take care of these. The camera pans over to him walking away. And it's just like, this room is empty. It's just like two chairs on the wall, on the side of the wall where people are sitting. This is like supposed to be an office building and there's like nothing in here. They couldn't even pop for like a couple cubicles or like anything, a stapler for fuck's sake. So when the camera panned and followed him and they saw the room was empty, I laughed so fucking hard. It was unbelievably funny.
Yeah, it did not strike me as the facility of a police state running the world.
Yeah, I mean, like you can't even pop for like just like a fold-out table or anything, man. A lamp or two. They did her desk look like legit or whatever, and she had a couple pictures behind her, but that was it. I guess that's all they had for the budget was that particular shot. Why did they pan over? That's so embarrassing. Anyway,
but yeah, you want to really joke about something? We're just under 30 minutes of this so far. And we're going on another Jesus fish spraying spree. And this time they're just reminiscing about the good times. Remember what going to the movies with your friends? We used to have worship times back in the good days. You mean 5 fucking years ago?
Yeah, like it's like 1973 or something. Remember back then when we'd have worship? No, like. Man, it's been 30 minutes into this movie and almost nothing has happened. What have we talked about so far? The cops shot at them twice. They met American guy. They spray painted a few fish, and they had like there was a flashback scene in a office that did not look like an office. So like we don't know the state of the world. We have no idea why Christianity is illegal. We don't know anything, and as the movie keeps trucking along. It's just incredible. Also, they keep talking about like all this Orwellian shit. Like there's cameras everywhere and we're being watched and shit. But like, again, nothing to establish how we got there or why, or it's just all the new.
Or even a panning shot of a camera.
No.
That's watching them.
That costs money, Steve. We can't have an actual camera. They could have gone down to the bank or something and just taken a quick picture of the side of a camera or anything that looked like official. The best thing about like a dystopian like government movie is like showing us like the oppressiveness or whatever, but they don't really do that. It's just said, except for cops, you just show up and shoot people on sight. Apparently, there is no flesh to this movie.
They barely look like cops either. They look like they just bought fatigues from the or rather fatigue pattern pajamas from Bob's, and they.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say Party City as if they would have fatigue pajamas. I don't know. Maybe they would.
But meanwhile, there's been these little scenes of a hacker guy, and they're like, they got a camera looking at them sometimes because after a while they decide to do a reverse image search of the Jesus fish on the dark web.
Oh my God. He reverse image searched on Google. Holy shit. Call the police. Also, they're in a very green tinted room with fog, so you know they're a hacker, okay? That's how you know. That's what all hackers do. Because hey, you have to invoke the Matrix or whatever the fuck somehow.
But guess what, Andre? Just to ruin the mystique there, hacker guy is actually a hacker girl, and she wants to help. I saw your sides. It reminded me of how the world was. I don't know your Jesus, but I believe in freedom of choice. Again, I understand that if you've never been to a church before, but how did humanity just forget about Christian 2,000 plus years of Christianity. How?
I,
Especially since it's illegal.
yeah, it's illegal. So you have to, I mean, like, it just, how did hacking help her find them? She just reverse searched the fish on Google and then she saw the fish, and then she just shows up at their house. How did she know where they, like, that doesn't make any sense. That's not how hacking works.
Yeah, here's an. I think no one really understands how hacking works because, even though everyone's not on the web anymore because of how illegal it is, she says she can help our hero people find more Christians to start building new churches like how they had to do back when Christianity first began. Except I was under the impression that anyone that came out as a Christian already, is in jail or dead. I don't know. They keep talking circles around this stuff instead of actually doing stuff, and that's how you know they're Christian. But
laugh track goes here. If I have a laugh track, sound effect, I'll put it under you. Yeah, it's just the dialogue too when she shows up is just incredible because like the protagonist is like, I don't know if he just didn't like proofread his script or something. Like, okay, English is his first language, but he opens the door and he says like, "Who are you and why do you want here? Why do you want here?" And she's like, "I am Holly and I want to help." It's like, oh, by the way, we know someone's name. Her name is Holly. We don't know anyone else's name. We know her name is Holly, though. Finally, someone introduces himself. And she's like, "I am what you might call a hacker." She literally says this.
She's got the hoodie on. Of course she's a hacker.
And then, like, yeah, of course. It's the hacker hoodie, of course. And then protagonist is like, "Well, how do you know you're not with blah, blah, blah?" And then she goes, "You mean so-and-so? She's an animal cracker." And
hey, you animal crackers. You all better start listening to Fine Time or else.
Is that a German insult, animal cracker?
Hey, German listeners, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, if you've ever heard anyone else call someone else an animal cracker, or if you have called someone an animal cracker, please let us know because that floored me. I had to rewind the scene again because after that I lost it. I was just, we had another flashback scene that was like slightly more populated office this time. There was like a few more American Army guys sitting at like some desks they put up. I don't know why they weren't there before. That doesn't really count as trying, but like, I guess at this point it might be worth exploring just a little bit because the movie didn't. Was he trying to make some sort of political statement? All the police and soldiers are American. Is he trying to say like America took over the world? I mean, but like, again, none of this is explained at all. So
maybe if they were actually trying, you can say that's what they were doing, but
it's just unbelievably. It's so inept. It's so inept. I need to take a break. I need to not think about this for a few minutes. We'll be right back, folks. Okay, I'm back. We're back. I prayed to God. I don't know about Steve. I don't want to speak for him. But
we prayed on this, and God says we need to continue.
We have to continue. We got to see this thing through to the end.
It's divine providence.
Starting with, after that last flashback scene, our hero starts giving a rousing speech. Steve.
Yeah, he's like in a park, but I don't think there's anyone actually in the crowd. Like there's cars and like other things in the background that like trucks or whatever that might indicate there are people nearby, but there are no people in this, that he's actually giving this speech to until they change the angle at the end of the speech and show 5 people, which I think were just people that happened to be in the park that they filmed later.
Like he didn't get permission. It's just people like standing around watching him be a crazy person.
I mean, it was a lot of nonsense. Like, we live once more under a dictatorship and communism. We are ruled by fear. They decide when you should have children, what job you should get, when you should die.
Yeah, he literally says this, and I'm thinking to myself, then fucking show it already. Like, I honestly didn't expect this movie to just say communism, Christianity's illegal, and just like boogeyman words that like old scared racist people are like frightened of. Like, I really didn't expect that. I honestly expected this to be more like, you know, those, remember like in the mid 2010s there was like a sort of a spate of like Christian movies. I think one of them was called like God's Not Dead. I remember that one. I just remember the commercials. Okay, yeah. I expected it to be on like the level of those. Now I never seen those, but those appear to be real movies. I got into a real theater with like a real budget and maybe like actual real dialogue. Not this. I just expected something like boring and Christian movie like that. I did not expect something this stupid. I'm glad it was this stupid because it was funny.
So, speaking of stupid, we have another it's a happier musical interlude where I guess there's the Christian revolution just quietly spreading, and they're looking on computers and things, and it's like the Christianity meter is going up or something.
Oh, is this the part where they were showing like the picture of like the globe and like certain countries started lighting up red or something? Yeah, because I didn't get that at all. Oh my god, did they level up to like 72 Christianity or something? It was just
passive Jesus skills.
The music, actually, so you've mentioned music for a couple times now. They got like the worst bullshit. I mean, I guess maybe all Christian music is like this to a degree, but just so edgeless, safe, boring, flat music, like about God, and you guys know what I'm talking about. That it's just like the wimpiest pop music you can imagine. Just awful stuff, cringeworthy, really. And they there were so many of them, and I don't know where he got them from, but he was really getting his money's worth for that license because he played like the whole song of a lot of them.
Oh my god, we could probably have a whole podcast about how religious music became toothless in the 20th century, but let's move on because there's a new guy with a weird haircut who just showed up because they had an illegal gathering underground, and his mother and sisters and a bunch of other people were arrested and are going to be executed for treason, and he's not going to be executed for treason. He didn't get caught somehow.
Yeah, because he's here by virtue of the fact that he's here, but like, what were they having a meeting about? Was it about, were they praying? I don't know, because they didn't say.
I think they were praying. I think that's what we're supposed to take away from this, that they're all being told to pray because, you know, this is our Christian revolution leader we're talking to. Surely he has a plan. They'll be going to a better place, our hero tries to say before, you know, more victim blaming and saying God has a plan. Here's some CDs.
They are distributing CDs and DVDs. I don't know how. I guess maybe to this Christian network, when they got to like level 75 Christianity, they started getting people's addresses or something from whatever the fuck they're doing. I don't even know if they have a website or something, because again, why explain anything? But they're sending out CDs and DVDs to promote their message.
What courier service is bringing these CDs to people?
We have no idea. And you remember when Hacker Girl started like, oh, I know how to like get our message out there. There was like a montage with music of her setting up her laptop. Do you remember that? She put the table down. Then the speak. It was really stupid. I was like, I cannot believe they're making this a montage.
Because this movie is exactly an hour and 30 minutes long, and we're going to fill that space.
Oh, they made it 90 minutes for sure. It was actually an hour 30 exactly, now that you mention it. Remember in V for Vendetta, one of my favorite movies of all time, like, you know, that guy gets found out for like having a Quran and like other religious texts. You remember that shit? And he gets dragged away by the secret police because that movie was fucking amazing. And they did such a great job of painting their dystopian world where you can't do this and that. Remember real movies?
That was a police state if I ever saw one.
Yeah. Kind of like what they were trying to establish in this, but no, just keep saying communism and have American guys dress up in fatigues and just call it a day, I guess. Whatever. But okay, we haven't talked about this, but I feel like this is your favorite scene in the movie. It's gotta be. I just knowing you, I feel like this is it.
The one coming up. Well, listen, we've already hit all the other Christianity is mostly kind of useless stereotypes, but we're hitting upon the last one. We're hitting on the greatest one, where they're all literally sitting around a fire singing Kumbaya. Well, it's not Kumbaya, it's Amazing Grace, but you know, same general idea.
It may as well be Kumbaya.
It should have been Kumbaya. It would have been perfect if it was, but this is just as well because it's incredibly off key. And then all of a sudden, you see those lights? Is that the police? And they're like, if that's the police, we're not going to stop singing because of the government. We're going to trust God. And then the police show up. And then the song just becomes more significantly more modern.
Obviously, they stop singing because the cops are there, but then they start playing a very modern version of Amazing Grace with rapping in it. There's like rap verses in Amazing Grace.
In this version, there is.
Which, like, look, I'm all for modernizing any, like, especially like really old songs. This was just so cheesy in a way. I don't know if you're actually listening to those lyrics, but don't, because it was really stupid.
See, I couldn't because I couldn't pay attention to the lyrics because I just couldn't be taken away. The cops have gone from shooting everyone on sight to gently arresting everybody by asking them to kneel nicely and just cuffing them as they go along while the song is playing. And then the one of the cops just stomps out the fire with his giant boot.
That was incredible.
That'll show those Christians.
That was fucking incredible. Really nice, like very close in shots of his boots and like the fire just crushing the American oppression of the boot, literally snuffing out the fire of the world, right? And then like after he did that, he looked like really conflicted, and he was just like, man, what did I do? And he like looked at the sky or something a little bit. And
are we the bad guys? We didn't even shoot these people.
Are we the baddies? Yeah. They didn't even shoot him this time. I felt like that was Fat Cop from the beginning, though. That wasn't him. It looked exactly like him.
It might have been, but I don't know. I felt like
anyway.
I honestly thought he was. I honestly felt like him and Marine are the same guy. So I don't know.
Oh, so like they're back in the office. American boss man, some flunky comes up to him and he's like, so we have this system where we can track the phones of certain kinds of people, including Christians. I was like,
yeah, you remember going to your phone provider and having to fill out the religious paperwork. Oh yeah, I'm Christian.
Yeah. It just incredible.
Religion. I prefer not to answer.
Prefer not to say. Like, but it's like, okay, we already have that technology. We've been having that for a very long time. We just invented it for this world because I don't know. But we invent a lot of things in this movie, I guess.
Like the fog machine in their office.
Oh yeah. The just like the hacker room, the fog machine was cranked up in the office too. And sometimes their apartment too, just for mood. I don't know why. At the end of the movie, they really cranked up the fog machine when the siren started going off. Like at the end there, it was like really, you could really tell. Anyway, this is my favorite scene in the movie because American Boss Man is petting a model train, like literally like petting it, almost like he would polish something in an Animal Crossing New Horizons. He was petting it. And he was saying to the girl, you see this? This represents power in history. This right here represents the Christians that I killed. It was just unbelievable. It's a train, man. What does that have to do with anything? And you particularly killed the Christians. You with your own hand? Like, it was an SNL skit, Steve. It was unbelievably funny. I mean, did you find it as funny as I did? That was incredible.
I was floored by, it wasn't even like a full train. It was just the engine.
Yeah. It just like, and then like, he's worried about the Christian uprising might make people realize that they're oppressed because he knows that, I guess, or something. This is giving the people too much hope or something. So he says to the girl, go talk to the minister of propaganda so we can work out a plan. There's a minister of propaganda.
Of course there is.
So she leaves and he pets the train a little bit more and he just has like a deep sigh, like he just came or something in his fatigues. It was unbelievable. It's too good. It's too funny for an SNL skit, honestly.
Too on the nose for an SNL skit.
Anyway,
but I got some good news though, Andre. Hacker girl found Jesus.
Really? Wow! I'm glad she converted.
They taught her how to pray with a rosary, and for some reason the scene's in German.
Yeah, this scene is in German, and it's something I wondered really early in the movie, where it's like, why not just like, if he's talking to his sister and otherwise not talking to the Americans, just talk in German. That would have been so much easier for them to script. I don't know why they did that.
But Andre, I've got even more good news.
Oh, tell me.
They've reached their stretch goal of 100,000 Christians in Asia.
Did
that means they all get a tote bag. I guess.
It says like 100K on it and has like a global, has like the outline of Asia with some Lisa Frank stickers to go. But yeah, it's just unbelievable they distributed these CDs and DVDs to Asia. Well, it's funny because it's like, one, it seems insane to have a global police state. It's like, oh, we just took over China and like Russia and like again, we don't know how this happens, but apparently it happened. Number two, again, with the CDs and DVDs, like, what the fuck is this? 2006? Like, why would you do that? Especially since the part that's coming up soon where they where they have a live stream on the internet. Why not just do that? Isn't that a much easier way to spread your message than like send $6.95 plus shipping and handling to get your Christian DVD and CD today from Germany? I don't understand at all. Is that it? Okay. Does this movie defeat you already?
No, not yet. But we do have some sad news.
Uh-oh.
Our hero's old friend, who I think is played by the brother, he comes by and he just pretty much recaps everything that came by so far by way of telling everyone to maybe stop what they're doing. It's pretty much going, I just want to warn you guys that our world has changed and it's never going to be the same. You don't have values anymore. The leaders have created a beautiful system and they dictate the values now. We just have to accept that.
They dictate the values now. Is this supposed to be like, oh, they tell us when to wear a mask or not? Or so? By the way, they were wearing masks outside. Like, clearly this was, I mean, it came out in 2021. So clearly wherever they filmed this in Germany still had restrictions in place that they were following while filming this. Because otherwise they wouldn't have been doing that, right? Because that doesn't even jive with the story in the movie, right? So they must have been shooting on location.
It's weird because they're not always wearing masks. Like sometimes the one guy takes it off, but not always. I think, but generally they are wearing a mask. So this is kind of going against their message.
it's unbelievable. Not that anyone in the movie said, "Oh, I don't want to wear a mask anymore." They weren't that explicit, but I don't know what we're supposed to take of, they're pushing their values on us or whatever. I mean, that's obviously yeah, but again, and this is something too that we both wondered, how the hell can all of this be installed by the year 2025? So coronavirus happens, and then America decides whatever in 5 years. I mean, it doesn't. This can't work that way. We coerce China and, like I said, all these countries into being like, now we are the global leaders of the world, bitches. Deal with it. In 5 years, this
And
happened.
everyone just said, okay.
Yeah. Again, all talk, no show. Don't show the world. Just talk about it, and I guess we're supposed to believe it. Oh, and then so that guy shows up, and then American Man, he gets in an argument with this guy, and he's like, "Do you think life is worth living right now? Because we all have to ask permission. We have to ask permission to do anything around here. Permission to do what? And ask who for permission? Who are we asking, and for why?
We don't really see anyone do anything except occasionally spray Jesus fish and pretend to hack into things. So
yeah, he's talking about like we have to ask. Who are you asking, and to do what? To go to the bathroom? Do you have to get like a bathroom pass or something?
I'm sorry, the German version of Chili's hasn't been open for a few months, but
You should have been just real lazy and just said Das Chili's or something.
Das Chili's.
I guess because the movie's almost over, Steve, two people have to fall in love all of a sudden.
Yeah, and you remember how we brought up earlier that our director and actor of the protagonist is a child groomer? I think this is a dramatic reenactment of whatever creepy courtship this was. We ran out of DVDs and CDs. I'm good at giving speeches, but I can't talk to girls. I think I have feelings for you. And then she just reaches over. I feel the same. Jesus has to be the center of our relationship.
That's creepy. That's so weird. Look, I know like real religious people do say stuff like that, and I think it's creepy IRL as well. But to see it depicted that way in a movie, and by the way, do you like the very artistic shot where she's like, I think, and then she pauses, and then the camera shows her hand taking his hand like that. I think I feel the same way, or whatever. Oh, so stupid. It was like it was like a fucking college movie or something. No, college movies are better than this. They're more creative.
And I think she feels the same way, because one scene later, it's like almost like she's trying to get out of the relationship by destroying documents, which, as you may recall, is a capital offense.
Yeah, whatever.
Except she gets caught, and the other lady that's been, bit of a ball breaker this movie lets her go.
Also, the ball breaker admits that like American Boss Man is her dad, which doesn't make any sense at all. Why would that be your dad? Whatever. I guess just say stuff and it's fine. But yeah, anyway, as mentioned earlier, they do a live stream over the internet where they do you're more in the religious, you know more about religious stuff than me. So what is this called? Where
this is the consecration of the body and blood, which is pretty much the part of the mass where we believe the wafers and the wine turn into Christ's actual flesh and blood. It happens every mass, every week, every day. Even it's very standard, and they did this pretty much word for word over a live stream. And then the state, and then I guess this is about this is it, because the brother guy is very eager
before you get there, I gotta say, during this live stream, American Man was wearing a Nike shirt that said Germany for some reason. Maybe that's the only one they could find in Germany. The Nike shirt that said, "Hey, this is American brand. put this on." They also let him lead the prayer afterwards, and it was a predictable stammering mess with more throat clears and everything. I love Jesus and Lord. Thank you. He said Lord like 84 times in this thing.
To be
Like,
fair, we also say Lord many times at a given
oh,
mass.
okay, but this prayer was like 45 seconds. There was like 2 lords a second. It was ridiculous. Oh
To be
Lord,
fair,
thank you, Lord, and Lord, I really appreciate Lord when you lift me up, Lord. I mean, it was insane.
so hey, we got to start wrapping this up, right? So the brother, who I think is more bald than he was when they were filming that first scene, is just very eager to sell them out and make a deal.
We're allowed to say that because we're 2 balding dudes.
Yes, and and now right away, Mother Brain is destroyed. Sirens are running. Time to kill all the Christians.
The Christian siren went off in the office building that was so full of fucking fog from the machine.
And all these guys, which look more ready to rob your local gas station than quell a rebellion, just raid the apartment as just in time for the hero to escape. And we get to that part we were at the beginning with the car ad.
Yeah, and then shoots him up, and then what's the final scene? The cop interrogates him, and then
They cut back to the interrogation, and he's reading the book, and they just quit. And the guy not in the room, watching the interrogation, he just goes execution, and then the lady and 2 other cops drive him into the woods. They march him down, and he looks in an act of defiance, where he briefly flashes back to the good times of earlier in the movie of when they were spray painting fish and hacking into compoopers. And right before it cuts to black, and 2 drum bearings symbolize gunshots. The end.
oh, and then immediately after that, more PowerPoint presentation. It says, "Special thanks to our Lord Jesus Christ."
No, really, it says this.
Steve, I'm shocked. Again, I've said this several times, but I really, really am. I don't even know how to process this. It's been a few days since we watched this. I've seen bad movies before, and I really love good bad movies like this. This has to be one of the best I've ever seen. It has to be. Is this up there for you? Like this is incredible. I would recommend everybody watch this.
Oh, everyone has to watch. Anyone that's ever been interested in a movie has to see this because they need to see. I honestly think, no, I don't even think they really had a good intention in mind and hoped God would plan out the rest, because a lot of this effort is minimal.
if any was taken. So while I did not expect a movie called 2025, The World Enslaved by a Virus, to be any sort of bastion of inclusivity, I did raise my eyebrow that there was like all white people in this movie, because like usually religious stuff, especially like Jehovah's Witness stuff, which I'm most familiar with because my grandma was one, like they always try to like, there's black people, there's Asian people, they try to like hit all the demographics, because they want everybody to come to the church. They want, they're aspiring to something, whether it's actually true or not, Mormons. But like, it was shocking. Again, maybe because you could say it's because it's in Germany, but anyone ever hear of Milli Vanilli? I'm pretty sure Germany has some black people, right? So I don't know. I thought it was weird that this was like the whitest movie I had seen in a while.
The only thing the only pass I'd possibly be willing to give is that it's the year 2020, and they're clearly getting people as they come along. Let's flash back to the park scene where there was clearly no one at this. Look, think of any speech scene in any movie you've ever seen. Wouldn't you be doing like flyby shots of the crowd of people trying to take it in?
Oh, there was no extras, obviously. I
Or,
don't
or,
think you
or,
were joking when you said like there was just those people standing around at the park. I really think that's what happened.
and that's like the one thing I'd like give this movie. There were no people of other cultures in there because they were inside and they were like, nope, we're not doing this shit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess lastly, like, I don't know why anybody would agree to be in this. Like, I'm sure everyone who was in this was like Christian or whatever. He just literally rounded up all the Christians he knew and wherever he lived. But like, did he put out a casting call with like make America great again hashtags or something on Twitter. Like, how did he get people to agree to did they read the script if there was one? Because American Guy seemed to be just winging it. I just can't imagine anyone young and hungry to act just to be like, to see this and read this, even if you are a Christian, and just be like, yep, that's what I need to star in. I can't imagine.
He didn't. I don't think he reached out to any of the. I can't say they're stars, but the usual stand-ins for people that might appear in these Christian films, because there's usually some overlap. There's that. I always forget her name. There was that redheaded lady on Touched by an Angel. She's in a bunch of these.
Was Seventh Heaven a religious show, or was it just called that? Because I remember watching that one.
It was religious-esque. He was a minister.
Okay. My mom loved that show for some reason. Not every week she'd watch that one. I don't know why she liked it so much.
And then he got Me Too'd, so who cares?
He did? Oh my God. Okay. Well, what a surprise, right? Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think that's a good cap off. I think that's all we need to say about this. 2025, The World Enslaved by a Virus. Go to Tubi right now and watch this movie. It is hysterically funny. It is so good. If you like bad movies, this is cream of the crop stuff. Steve, would you agree? Again, I think I asked already, but like top tier bad movie?
Oh yes, it's clear that there is no loving God by the time you're done watching this, and everyone needs to just flip this on and find out why.
Yeah, it is incredible. You will not be disappointed, I promise. All right. That's enough. I guess we have to go to church, so we have to get out of here.
We'll pray for you.
We will pray for you. See you next time. Bye.